180, center.
Mike, first, what can you tell us about what happened to Jalen Phillips?
It's his Achilles. Doesn't look great, but we'll find out more tomorrow. So yeah, well, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but not fired up about it.
I was going to say, could you kind of, I know you said you're not fired up about it, but I guess what kind of emotions, we saw the entire team come out onto the field as he was kind of carted off, but just kind of what emotions were you feeling for a guy who was very open just a couple weeks ago about, overcoming their early season injuries and how it kind of affected his mental through it all?
It was emotional. I think that's one of the special things about this particular team is there's a lot of shared journeys. So, everybody sees what he puts in on a daily basis. Everyone knows how bad he wants to take steps in his game and be absolutely great in this league, which he has. I've been very proud of him the whole season, and it's very, very tough in the short term. From my vantage point and just my experience with people, if it's the worst case scenario, it's also you get a chance to write your own story. So he's the type of person, and he has the right mindset where he'll be able to turn anything that's perceived as negative into an eventual positive. But this is going to be tough and trying for him as we get our information back and prepare ourselves for the worst case scenario.
From a momentum standpoint, what did that pick six at the end of the first half do for you guys?
Yeah. It was that's I talked to the team a bunch about this, and I think too often, or we're vulnerable in terms of we have a lot of individuals putting more in to everything than they ever have before, and they've been playing football their whole lives. And in those situations, one of my biggest concerns is that individuals put too much on themselves and not recognize the team of playmakers that we have and how we can play off of each other and pick each other up. And it was absolutely a huge momentum swing that I think there's very few players that could have pulled off what Javon did. So I think he's Javon's the type of player that has very high aspirations for himself, and our team knows that he can be the best player on the field at any given moment. He's watched a ton of Ed Reed tape, and that was very reminiscent of Ed Reed for sure. So that was a cool moment that I think nobody on this team that was on the field will forget that particular play, and that's pretty special when you're talking about. It'll probably be the first play that people think of when you think back to this game. So it was a big time play and something that our team needed.
From what did you see from the two interceptions in kind of the final minute of the first half?
I think that everything's a learning situation. I think Tua is going to say that that can't happen. I'm going to say that there's I definitely wasn't right in my play call, but so we've got to work together, and I put a lot of trust in his hands, and he's got to protect me in that way. And what I was very happy about is those offer a couple. The second one, it's hard for me to, that's a tough one that, I think it's more the first one that I think in hindsight we could really have back. He'll say both, but I'm always looking for, those type of scenarios to make sure that we are in our progression, as working together, and that he's in the appropriate space, because things are going to happen that you're not going to like. And one of the biggest obstacles he's had to climb is, frustration within his own game, within a game, and making sure that doesn't linger. What I did see was him bounce back, and that takes a lot of training, especially when he's as accountable of a player as he is. That he is absolutely, positively so angry with himself in those moments, but to be able to come back and lead with authority and do all the things that we ask him to do, to execute on a down and down basis for the rest of the game, I thought was very encouraging. I also thought that he probably had his best third down game against a really good third down defense. That's a very good defense in general, but in third down, it's not easy to move the chains, and I think we were 11 for 16 on third down. So there was some good stuff there too. So it's not all picks in my mind. There was a lot of good performance by him, and then also I really liked how he bounced back from that and didn't let that keep him from playing the position as we know he is capable of throughout the rest of the game.
How do you view the trajectory of this defense?
Well, I view the trajectory as more this way, right? Which is cool. We talked as a team at length. There's part of the unintended consequence of maybe a side of the ball starting off at a historical rate, is there's a lot of attention paid to that side, and I think our defense was kind of overlooked for a while, and on top of that, they didn't start exactly the way they wanted to this season, but it's been a build, and I think since week 8, up until this game, we had been number 1 in the league in defense, stopping the run, and that, I think that epitomizes the whole team. What they're doing is what we've identified as what we want to do, and that's progress and continue to get better as the season progresses, and then not cower in the face of obvious parts of our game that we can get better at. You have higher belief in the entire unit at the beginning of the season than what we're putting out there in terms of like run defense. What do you do about it? You work on that and emphasize it, and there's no shortcut to the gains that they've made. This has been hard work and dedication each week, belief in what they're being coached, and then complete ownership of responsibilities. And I've been talking about the way that the defense is practiced. Our defense is practiced since the Buffalo game. I keep bringing it up, and it's very satisfying for me as a coach, because I know that if you just focus on that the gains will come. And I think people are starting to see some of the stuff that we've held internally. The high belief and high esteem that we have for everybody on the defensive side of the ball, including the coaches, and as a result, we're starting to have a team that's complementing each other in all three phases. And you can't just show up and say, all right, we're going to stop this or we're going to beat this to beat the Miami Dolphins. You have to deal with all sides of the ball, and we had a ton of plays made on the defense side of the ball today, plays that determine the outcome of football games, whether that be turnovers or sacks or just very, very competitive, swarming defense that is I'm very proud to be a part of.
Mike, we saw a lot of shuffling along the offensive line. Can you update us on, I guess, Teron Armstead, and then Kendall Lamb with the back, and then I think he
We were just bored. No, I mean, what more can you say? Like, you have all these lineup changes. You have, people going in and out of different positions, but you see a group that understands, that learns, not only with the reps they get, but the reps that their teammates get. And I thought, all that being said, they're the backbone. The offensive line was the backbone of the most important offensive drive of the game, which was at the end of the third quarter, where I think it was I can't remember, it was a 2-score game, I believe. We went 17 plays over 9 minutes, and I thought that kind of changed that on top of Javon's interception. Those were the two big moments in the game as far as giving us a chance to win. So I think you're starting to see why we were so happy and why it was hard to kind of like just anoint people as starters in training camp, because there was a lot of really good competition. There was a lot of talent, a lot of the stuff that we look for, and as a result, you can still be productive when the lineup is changing. So hats off to them. Very, very proud of that group, and the resolve they have, and look forward to keep progressing with them as they continue to get better at all sorts of things each and every week.
But no updates to Ron and Kendall.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's battling through. No real updates with really anybody. It's it'll be an exciting time when I meet with Kyle and the training staff. Over the weekend and on Monday, because we're luckily we're very well versed at adjusting. So there'll be some capable guys that are healthy. Who those are and exactly what that's going to look like, we'll find out.
Last question.
Mike, first 2 possessions, back-to-back 4th and short situations. Can you take us through the decisions on those 2 in a game when it looks like points might be at a premium?
Yeah, the first one we had converted, I think a 3rd and short on a screen to Tyreek, and we'd gone down all the way to the 5-yard line. And in those situations, you're just kind of reading the room, as it would be, with regard to your team. I felt very comfortable. I was very happy with the defense's first series, and I felt like they were ready to play. I kind of had that feeling all week, and so we went to something that I'm very comfortable putting in 2 in Tyreek's hands. Against a very good player. We came up short, but proved us right by getting a stop, and we got the ball back. Then what was the second drive?
Then you kicked the field goal out.
Yeah, okay. So the difference for me is you go for it on 4th in a similar distance at the 20-something, and you get the first down. You still have 20 yards to go before you score a touchdown. The stakes, the play that I called, I kind of knew it was going to be it's 4th down. We're going to take a shot at the end zone to score. But if you do convert, you're talking about 1st and goal at the 4. So the risk reward of failure to me are a little different in the first quarter in the grand scheme of things, from the 5 to the 20 whatever, which was the difference in decision making.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Who will be next?